Salutations everybody, Dreamforge here with another build guide for Battle Brothers. Today I want to introduce the Thunderer. He will run around the battlefield and shoot his gun and will do a lot of carnage in the enemy lines. The more enemies the better, basically. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with him, even exploit some things that makes him, I feel like, broken. A lot of fun, just blasting enemies. So, how do you skill him? He's in the backline, and this is a recurring theme. You probably know this by now. He should be safe from the get-go. I will take Student from the beginning. Then I will take this to boost up his range attack. He should get this pretty soon. Then Bags and Bells is very important, of course. He has to take Crossbow Mastery. I will explain this very briefly. Without this, reload handgun costs 9 AP, which is the full turn, so you couldn't shoot and reload in one turn, and this is something we of course want, and therefore you absolutely have to take this. Afterwards, this is obviously a nimble build, so we take nimble. I like fearsome gunners. This is a theme in the community, is one of the strongest builds that there is right now, especially against big orc camps and humanoids later on. Because not only they do damage, sometimes they hit for 3, 4, 5 times in one turn, or double the amount of that. Yeah, you heard correctly. They trigger fearsome so often that they chain route everything. So this is a damage dealer, and then I will take this and this. This probably doesn't have the biggest use. If you just look at this mathematically, you see firing costs 3 and then reloading costs 6, that would be 9. Let's say you kill one target, this can only proc once a turn. You would get 4 AP back, so you can't reload, it costs 6. What do you do with those points then? This completely takes your AP. You could use those points to position yourself again, or to throw a net, or to throw something else like a smoke pod, a flash pod, a fire pod. Whatever you like. I would take this of course too. And now you can decide what you want to do with the last perk. This is maybe not the worst choice, because then fighting in certain locations you only can move one tile if you don't have this. This could sometimes mean you can't shoot very good next round. You could say, you know what, I don't move a lot anyways. I want to exploit fearsome as best as I can. Then you can take this. This would of course make you more resilient against mental attacks. This is a very, very nice bonus. But this is how he works. I would probably do this. And if I'm not in the late game, I probably wouldn't take this actually. I would take this before that. But this is, I would say, just like preference. Just to add to this, when we talk about skills, you need a very good range bow for this. Like a really good one. Those 47 1-star poachers, they will not cut this. You want to have a hunter with like triple stars. You need really a lot of range attack. And the reason for that is how a handgun works, how you actually hit. And if this is very, very near, that's not a problem, but the outskirts, the last one, you get pretty hefty minuses to hit. And therefore you want to have very high hit chance, therefore you hit better, and this build becomes 10 times more efficient in proccing fearsome, doing damage in general. Okay, gear wise, I mean, you see, early game, I never have handguns from the get-go. I feel for every range character having this crossbow is just best choice. It's a crossbow, you need bolts, right? This is just like some random stuff you find from raiders pretty early on. Doesn't have to have crazy gear. Then because he has quick hands pretty early, I really like giving my range bows throwing nets. They can support and then netting down the leaders or hedge knights or any dangerous target you want basically. And then any reach weapon. This is very early on. Maybe you have a pike, maybe an ancient undead pike, whatever you like. But sometimes you just, you know what, there's so many zombies, I don't have much money, shooting doesn't make sense, I just use that pike. And because of the hit chance, plus is absolutely fine. I just put a Wardog here. You don't have to do that if you don't have the money, but sometimes your range bows get into melee, and then having a dog is really helpful. But this is just a bonus if you're very, very rich. maybe you watched my how to get rich guide and you're very rich, then you can of course do this and buy this. This is a late game, you know, nimble gear, the best you can buy. You want to craft those large powder bags. They are pretty easy to craft. You just kill 1 pack of snakes and you basically can craft them. You have a dog with the best armor. And now the handgun. But to make this brokenly OP, and you most of the time just have one handgunner, unless you play like Pez Militias, you have more slots, but you don't want to have more than one normally. You have 2 guns, and then you will blast in the first round like 2 times, or the first round when you shoot. So this is how this works. This is so stupid. You start, but the gun in your inventory isn't loaded. So you switch to that gun, you know, because quick hands make this for free. Then you reload for 6, and then you move maybe 1 tile. Maybe the enemy is charging at you. You can just sit there and wait, you know, and just imagine yourself blasting in the next turn. And then the next turn you get into position, or you just wait another turn, and then the turn after. You should be in your perfect position. Everyone is standing where they should be. You have 4, maybe 5 targets you can shoot, and then you shoot. Then you switch, and then you shoot again. This is so devastating, especially the rounds after. If you have another shot, you will see so many white flags. It's actually ridiculous. I can tell you, big orc camps with 2 of those bros, you will feel a difference, like big. I will plan to do that on my current run, Pez Militia. I will have 2 of those bros. They will have double guns, and I will just blast the freaking crap out of my enemies. This will be a lot of fun. I mean, if you don't fight snakes in the early game, it's fine. You just take the other one. 7 shots is of course better than 5, but this will do. Anyways, I just took a bill hook. Maybe you like swords. Maybe you want to have a dagger. I always have 1 net on him, you know, because sometimes netting is very important. Take whatever you want. You can take another net. You can take a fire pot, which would be kind of crazy. Blasting and then throwing a fire pot on top of that. Sounds cool. You can take a flash pot. I will take smoke pots, because on Iron Man you sometimes really have to get a bro out, and those things of course help. You can take whatever you like. It doesn't really matter. Variations, there's not that much you can actually do. If you say, you know what, I don't like this at all, you can take this for better repositioning. But there's not much you can do actually. There is, and this is something I maybe do in the future, a special list build that is a little bit different. I just show off this. You don't take this, then you probably don't take this, then you would take this too and this. And then instead of having those, he would have 2 stacks of javelins, and then he would just shoot, switch, and throwing stuff, and then you could use your berserk points if you have them. You could kill somebody with 1 throw of javelins, then this procs, you switch to your handgun, you reload it, and then you blast. It's a crazy idea, but I think this is a build, like a new build, something that you would just make a bit different, right? This is just more safe. The other one is very offensive or very aggressive. Yeah, stat-wise, he doesn't need extreme amounts of fatigue, so you level this when you get a good roll. You want to have at least some HP. What I say always, resolve should be at least 45. And then of course, ranged attack is the most important of all of them. You want to have at least some range defense. And you should try to push melee attack until, I would say, at least 65, you know? So you really need a good bro. It would be great if he would have 2 stars and he starts with 55. Alright, that is all for this build. I hope you have fun with this. I will certainly have that. And I see you in the next build guide. Until then, have a good one.